Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today we are going to present our case management entitled Vaping Among Teenagers. Together with my group members, Nur Hikmah, Hanifatul Khadijah, Nurul Jannah, and me myself, Nur Afrina Batrisha. So, what is vaping? Vaping is when someone uses a small handheld device like e-cigarettes, vape pens, or pods to inhale a mist of nicotine and flavoring, or known as e-liquid. It is similar to smoking a cigarette, but vaping heats tiny particles out of liquid rather than burning tobacco. The e-cigarette heats the liquid in the device to create an aerosol. Mist from e-cigarettes contains particles of nicotine, flavoring, and other substances like propylene glycol and glycerin that are suspended in the air. Most types of e-cigarettes have, first, a cartridge, tank or pod that holds liquid, which it can be refillable. Second, a heating element for turning the liquid into breathable particles like aerosol, commonly called vapor. Third, a battery to power the heating element. Fourth, a power or control button, which some are activated by sensors when you inhale. And lastly, a mouthpiece to breathe in the aerosol.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Hikmah Atika binti Erni with matrix number 2011814. So I will continue this presentation with vaping implication. First, I will start with vaping implication in social psychological. So we provide 4 vaping implication in social psychological. First is peer pressure and social acceptance. So peer may influence or accept you just because of being trendy, which might make you feel like joining them in doing vaping. So this can be particularly worrying for teenagers who want to be accepted by their peers or their friends. For example, imagine your friend, all your friends are vaping, so you might feel left out or pressure to try it to fit in. So vaping can become a social activity, making some people feel more accepted by their peer or their friend if they join in. So this pressure can be strong, especially for teens who crave social belonging. Second is increased risk-taking behavior. So research show that teenagers who are into vaping have all likelihood enhance other type of dangerous conduct. For example, engaging in substance abuse and starting early sex life. So this is because vaping may seem cool, especially with flavor option. So this can lead to a sense of daring and encourage other risk behavior. Like someone who vape might be more likely to experience with other substance or engage in dangerous activity to impress their friend or their groups. Next is body image and self-esteem. So when it comes to body image and self-esteem, vaping adverts typically depict teen vapor, leading to possible problem with body image, while at the same time impacting or on personal pride among young people as they grow older. So for example, like we we always saw the vaping advertisement often portray slim model vaping, creating an association between vaping and attractiveness. So this can be misleading to teenager and lead to negative body image or feeling of inadequacy, especially for teenager that concern about their appearance. So vaping itself doesn't cause weight loss, and the focus on appearance in vaping culture can be damaging. And the last implication for social psychological is fitting in with the crowd. So teenagers have the feeling that they should start vaping due to the pressure of belonging to the in group, because it can be appear to be a new trend or different way of fitting in. So vaping can become a group identity, especially with a certain flavor or type of vape. So people might vape to feel like they belong to a particular group or social circle. So this can be problematic because it bases friendship on a potential unhealthy habit rather than shared interest connection. So just a reminder that vaping isn't harmless. It can lead to addiction and health problem. So teenager don't feel pressure to vape to fit in, because true friend will accept us for who you are. So let's moving on to the vaping implication in mental health. So I provide 3 vaping implication in mental health. First is addiction. As we know, nicotine content in vape is very addictive. And compared to adolescents are at higher risk of addiction than adults, with this leading to dependence and withdrawal symptoms. So this is because vape, as I mentioned, vaping often contain nicotine, a highly addictive substance. So it risks your brain into releasing feel-good chemical, making you crave more and more to experience that feeling again. So this circle can lead to dependence, making it hard to quit even if you want to. So you just imagine being stuck in a loop where you need to vape just to feel normal. It is so scary. Second is mood swing and irritability. Mood swing and irritability is when an individual quit smoking. They may suffer from mood swing, irritability, and have problem with their concentrating. So this is because, again, nicotine can mess with your brain chemistry, leading to mood swing. So you might feel happy and relaxed in 1 minute, then irritable and frustrated the next. So this unpredictability can stain relationship and make it difficult to focus on school or activity that you enjoy. Just imagine that, like you feeling like ticking time bomb and ready to explode in anger at any moment. So the last one for vaping implication in mental health is anxiety and depression. So anxiety and depression, in this present moment, it is believed that vaping might enhance the risk of anxiety and depression among young people. This is because research suggests a link between vaping and increased anxiety and depression. The constant need for nicotine can create a circle of worry and stress. So when you cannot vape, you might feel anxious and even depressed. So this can make it harder to cope with challenges and enjoy life. So as you know, vaping might seem like a way to relax, but it can actually make things worse in the long run. So vaping is not worth the risk to your mental health. There are many healthy ways to manage stress and feel good. So people, teenagers, don't let vaping control your life. So last but not least from me is vaping implication in school achievement. When we mention school achievement, of course, we might include academic performance. So academic performance, research has shown that there is a link between smoking and vaping and declining academic, because performance, the cause for this may include poor concentration and make general health issue. This is because, as you know, vaping can take a toll on teenager grade, on your son grade, because nicotine can impair memory and concentration, make it harder to learn and retain information. Because when craving can also disrupt focus during class and studying. So you just imagine you want to understand complex concept, but your brain has but you in messy and you cannot concentrate in class. Next is increased behavior problem. This increased behavior problem, it is possible that young vapor exhibit more behavior disorder compared with non-smoking peers, because vaping can lead to more behavior issue in school, because the irritability and mood swing associated with nicotine dependence can make it harder to control yourself, your temper, or follow classroom rules. So maybe because of that, you will getting into argument with your teacher, with your classmate, because of vaping related mood swing. So you will look bad. Next, impair cognitive function. The adolescent memory, attention, and learning may be harmed by nicotine. So vaping can affect brain development, especially in young people whose brain are still growing. So this can lead to problem with processing information, problem solving, and decision making. Because you just imagine struggling to understand basic concept or make sound choice, but in both crucial for school success. And the last one for school achievement implication in vaping is trouble focus in class. Vaping can make it hard to concentrate, as I mentioned before. So you can concentrate on schoolwork because of the nicotine, or because teen might be thinking about when they can vape next. So the constant urge to vape can be distracting in class. You might find yourself thinking about your next vape break instead of paying attention to the teacher. So this can lead to misinformation and difficult completing your work, your schoolwork. So you maybe during the class you daydreaming about your next vape instead of listening to the teacher explanation. So again, this is the reminder: vaping is not worth sacrifice your academic success. There are healthy ways to deal with stress and improve your focus. Focus on your goal and avoid vaping in school.
Moving on to the next subtopic, our theoretical framework are based on the cognitive behavioral theory or CBT and mindfulness-based therapy. So what is the meaning of CBT? It is a form of psychotherapy that focuses on changing unhelpful cognitive distortions and behaviors. It helps clients to improve their emotional regulation and develop personal coping strategies that target solving current problems. It was developed through a combination of behavioral and also cognitive therapy, both of which emerged in the mid-20th century. Besides, it is a highly effective and widely practiced form of psychological treatment that addresses a variety of mental health issues, including depressions, anxiety disorders, substance use disorders, and other psychological problems. CBT is based on the premise that our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors are interconnected, and that changing negative thoughts pattern can lead to changes in feelings and behavior. What are the core principles of CBT? Number one, it focuses on the here and now, dealing with current issues rather than exploring past events. So, meaning that CBT is designed to be a practical, present focused approach to psychotherapy. And unlike some other forms of therapy that delve deeply into a person's past to understand their current issues, CBT is concentrating on the here and now. And it also identifies specific problems and aims to provide strategies to help individuals to cope with their problems or issues more effectively. Number two, it is a goal oriented, meaning it sets clear objectives for what the individual want to achieve during the therapy, and it is time limited, typically involving a finite number of sessions only. So, how we want to apply the principles of CBT to vape addiction? Number one, CBT helps to address underlying cognitive patterns, which means it helps teenagers to identify and challenge the unhelpful thoughts and beliefs that contributes to their vaping behavior. For example, teenagers might believe that vaping helps them manage stress or fit in with peers. And by integrating CBT techniques, counselor will help clients to refrain and restructure these unhelpful thoughts and replace with more realistic and positive ones. As a result, this can reduce the urge to vape and build resilience against peer pressure. So number two, behavioral interventions. CBT encourage the development of healthy behavior to replace vaping. Teenagers engage in activities that are enjoyable and fulfilling that helps them to reduce the reliance on vaping as a source of satisfaction. The second theory is mindfulness-based therapy. It is a type of psychotherapy that incorporates principles of mindfulness to help individuals manage and reduce psychological distress. Besides, this therapy also can be particularly effective in helping teenagers to deal with vape addiction by addressing the underlying psychological and behavioral aspects of the addiction. And the core idea behind MDT is to cultivate mindfulness, which is a state of active, open attention to the present moment using various techniques. This approach helps individuals become more aware of their thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensation without judgment, which can lead to greater emotional regulation, stress reduction, and overall well-being. Besides, this therapy also encourages individuals who are addicted to vape to observe their cravings and impulses without judgment. This means accepting cravings as they come and go without labeling them as bad or feeling guilty about them. Alright, now let us integrate the principles of MBT to vape addiction. So the first principle is present moment awareness. So this concept is actually about bringing full attention to the current experience for teenagers dealing with vape addiction. This means noticing when a craving arises and understanding it as a momentary experience rather than something that must be acted upon immediately. So when teenagers feel the urge to vape, they can practice mindfulness by taking a moment to notice the craving. Instead of automatically reaching for a vape, they pause and pay attention to what they are feeling. By being present, teenagers can identify what is specific situations, emotions, or thoughts are triggering their craving. For instance, they might notice that they might crave vaping more when they are stressed about school or feeling bored. The second principle is non-judgmental observation. So this concept involves observing thoughts and feelings without labeling them as good or bad. This reduces the emotional burden of guilt and shame, which can exacerbate addictive behaviors. For instance, when a teenager feels that a craving arises, he or she can observe it without attaching negative judgment to themselves. Instead of thinking I'm weak for wanting to vape, they can simply notice the craving as it is. This time is hard, However, by not judging themselves harshly for having cravings, teenagers can break the cycle of negative self perception that often leads to further vapings as a coping mechanism. So, the third principle is acceptance. It involves acknowledging cravings without trying to fight them or push them away. By accepting craving as a natural part of the experience, teenagers can reduce their intensity and impact. Accepting cravings mean when a craving arises, teenagers can practice acceptance by recognizing and allowing the craving to be present without resisting it. This approach can paradoxically lessen the craving's power. Besides, teenagers also can learn that cravings are temporary and will pass on their own. By not reacting to them immediately, they often find that the urge diminishes over time. For example, a girl named Emily experiences a strong craving to vape while hanging out with friends who vape. So she practices acceptance by telling herself, it's okay to feel this craving. I don't have to act on it right now. And then she focuses on her breathing and stays engaged in the conversation. And after a few minutes, she notices that the cravings has passed and she feels more in control of her actions.
I'll be presenting about the literature review of vaping among adolescents. So, numerous research and surveys have demonstrated that there has been a notable rise in vaping among adolescents in recent years. According to national data, the percentage of US high school students who vape nicotine rose from 11% in 2016 to 20% in 2020, with 23% of users reporting consistent use. Comparably, among students in the 10th and 12th grades, the percentage of students who vape cannabis in the previous month rise from 4% to 13% and 5% to 14%, respectively, between 2017 and 2019. Also, another study supported that the usage of e-cigarettes has increased, with adolescents leading the most in this trend. Utilizing heat, e-cigarettes create an aerosol that is inhaled into the lungs after heating a liquid solution containing nicotine, flavorings, and other substances. Vaping is a term for the practice of inhaling the aerosol that e-cigarettes emit. The usage of e-cigarettes, which were once promoted as a less harmful substitute for conventional tobacco products, has drawn criticism due to possible health dangers, especially for underage users, in this case, adolescents. Next, about the effects on mental health. Due to their developing brains, adolescents are especially susceptible to the negative health effects of cigarettes. Research on animals has demonstrated that while nicotine may be stimulating in the short term, it has a deleterious long term effect on memory and attention. This effect is believed to be caused by nicotine's permanent inhibitory effects on neural connections, which are forming throughout adolescence. Furthermore, it is well known that nicotine is addictive and that the adolescent brain is particularly susceptible to addiction. Symptoms of nicotine withdrawal manifest earlier and more frequently in children than in adults. Nicotine has the ability to swiftly create an enjoyable brain sensation that reinforces and rewards the user. People may develop a strong psychological dependence on nicotine as a result, making it challenging for them to stop using e cigarettes or other items that contain nicotine. Because their brains are still developing, adolescents who use e cigarettes and other products containing nicotine are especially prone to become addicted. Adolescent exposure to nicotine can affect how the brain develops, changing the reward system and raising the possibility of developing a substance addiction in the future. Studies have indicated that exposure to nicotine throughout adolescence may have long term consequences on brain health, such as deficits in memory, learning, and attention. Furthermore, adolescents who use e-cigarettes, which contain nicotine, are at significant risk of damaging their developing brains. This damage can lead to long-term cognitive deficits such as impairments in memory and attention. Furthermore, nicotine exposure during adolescence is linked to increased rates of mental health problems, including suicidality, violence, depression, anxiety, and other substance use. Adolescents who use multiple tobacco products such as e-cigarettes, hookahs, and combustible cigarettes are especially prone to heightened feelings of anxiety, depression, and ADHD compared to non-tobacco users. These findings underscore the severe mental health risks associated with adolescent nicotine use and the compounded dangers of using multiple tobacco products. Adolescents who use nicotine, which is one of the ingredients in a cigarette, have been demonstrated to severely damage their developing brains, which can result in mental health problems like suicidality, violence, depression, anxiety, and other substance use. Users of poly products such as e-cigarettes, hookah, and combustible cigarettes were more likely than non-users of tobacco to experience feelings of anxiety, depression, or ADHD. Next, moving on to the counseling intervention, it has been discovered that cognitive behavioral therapy is a highly effective strategy for helping smokers and vapers give up. Additionally, we discovered that both smokers and non smokers experience a significant reduction in nicotine dependence following cognitive behavior therapy. This change was statistically significant and demonstrated the effectiveness of cognitive behavior therapy in lowering tobacco use and nicotine dependency. Plus, motivational therapy, contingency management, and cognitive behavioral therapy are examples of behavioral interventions with evidence behind them. Furthermore, the rise in vaping, especially among adults and young adults, has led to an increased need for effective cessation strategies. Mindfulness based interventions, MBI, have emerged as a promising approach to address nicotine addiction and support individuals in quitting vaping. This review synthesizes current research on the effectiveness of mindfulness based interventions in promoting vaping cessation. MBIs have been interpreted from a mechanistic standpoint as mental training regimens intended to rehabilitate neurocognitive abilities that are disrupted throughout the addiction process. Plus, the sensation of natural reward may eventually surpass the need to use substances in order to get a sense of well being, supporting the reward restructuring theory and strengthening the persist again relapse. Last but not least, the Islamic perspective. Given Islamic teachings that place a strong emphasis on safeguarding one's health and well being, the legality of vaping is frequently questioned from this perspective. Maintaining one's health and well being is highly valued in Islam. Muslims are encouraged to seek out good deeds and refrain from harm by the Quran and Hadith. One of the main justifications for prohibiting vaping and electronic cigarette use is that they are unhealthy habits. Islamic Sharia forbids behavior that results in injury to oneself or destruction. Maintaining life and reason in order to prevent harm from all sources, including disease and death, is in fact compliant with the Maqasid Sharia. Plus, a holistic endeavor that aligns with the goal of Islamic Sharia or Maqasid al-Sharia is the cycle of benefits found in the combination of harm prevention activities that have been addressed. Preserving life, bodily health, mental health, and all facets of psychological well-being is one of the primary goals of Islamic religious law known as Hifz an-Nafs.
Adakah anda mula-mula terlibat dalam vape?
Saya mula-mula tapi pada waktu ini masih 14 tahun.
Sewaktu umur 14 tahun, adakah faktor lain ataupun yang macam mendorong ataupun permulaan yang anda memilih untuk mengambil vape?
Pada awalnya sekolah pun macam dia macam stres. Lepas tu macam bila tengok ada tawaran boleh tengok vaping, saya pun rasa macam macam super lah. Setuju dan saya macam jadi kopi meditation saya.
Mula-mula rasa curiosity nak macam mana vape ni lah. Macam tu. Okay, seterusnya biasanya ni pendapatan budak vape tu dari mana?
Kalau dulu online macam Shopee, sekarang kapital pun ada.
So you buy vape itu based on the pocket money ke ada dunia lain?
Ada pilihan sebab abang saya lagi bagi duit.
So next, we will continue with the mini research findings. We have interviewed two respondents. A male student with 10 years of experience in vaping. Second, B, a female self-employed with 6 years of vaping. The blue icon will represent A, while the pink icon will represent B. So for the first question, when and what led them to start vaping? So A stated that he starts vaping at the age of 14, while B starts vaping at the age of 18. And both respondents mentioned that they are influenced by their friends who vape. Initially, they observed their friends vaping. Then, they became curious about the taste and eventually started vaping themselves. Second, where do they usually purchase vaping products? So, both respondents mentioned that they purchase vaping products at the physical store, as nowadays there are a lot of stores selling vapes. Third, how frequently do they vape per day? So, both respondents stated that they vape frequently throughout the day, emphasizing that the refillable and rechargeable nature of vaping devices allowing them to vape at any time. Plus, the device is portable, lightweight, and can be taken anywhere. Fourth, how does vaping make them feel? After vaping, A finds relief from stress and improves his work performance. He vapes when he feels stuck at work, while B feels a sense of relief after vaping, as if all of her problems have been resolved. This explains that vaping nicotine may feel good by stimulating the production of the feel-good chemical in the brain called dopamine, which can create feelings of pleasure and relaxation. Fifth, are there certain situations or times when they need to vape more? He stated that he will need to vape more when he is stressed and overwhelmed at work, while B stated that she had to vape after eating. Nicotine's release of pleasure-inducing chemicals can make users feel good in the short term and appear to have a positive effect on stress. However, it is important to note that nicotine use does not alleviate stress in the long term and can trap users in a cycle of addiction. Users may experience irritability, anxiety, and depression when they have not vaping for a while, which can be relieved by vaping, creating the perception of psychological benefits. Next, can they refrain from vaping? A mentioned that he is capable of refraining from vaping when he is short on money, but he will switch to smoking instead, while B shared struggling to avoid vaping consistently, managing to abstain for only one day before feeling physically weak on the second day. This is explained by the way nicotine works in the body. Those feel-good chemicals don't last long. Within just a few hours, the effect of nicotine in the body wears off and can lead to a desire to vape again. This is nicotine withdrawal, and it includes cravings or urge to vape, feeling irritated or upset, feeling jumpy, restless, having a hard time concentrating, changes in sleep and eating habits, and feeling anxious or depressed. Over time, they will vape to deal with these symptoms of withdrawal, and that's called nicotine dependence. 7. What are their current health conditions after engaging in vaping? A mentioned that he has low stamina, needs to rest after 1 hour of playing futsal, and coughs due to the sweetness of the flavored vape, which irritates his throat, while B mentioned that she always coughs and having flu. In a study by Wills et al. 2020, the cardiopulmonary effects of vaping were evaluated. The study concluded that regular use of e-cigarettes could negatively impact lung function and cardiovascular health, which are critical components of overall stamina and physical fitness. A comparative study by Bata and Glass 2020 found that while e-cigarettes may have fewer toxins than traditional cigarettes, they still cause significant respiratory irritation and coughing. The study emphasized that both vaping and smoking are harmful to respiratory health. Thus, these studies collectively suggest that vaping can negatively impact both stamina and respiratory health, contributing to issues such as reduced exercise capacity and increased coughing. Next question, how easy or difficult have they found it to quit vaping? A mentioned that he finds it easy to quit, but challenging when hanging out with friends who vape and offering him their vape. While B mentioned that she finds it very difficult to quit vaping, especially since she has been vaping for a long time and her body has become dependent on it. So for A, dependence on vaping may be influenced by his social circle and environment. If the environment is free from vaping, it could help him reduce or quit. While B, on the other hand, is already struggling with nicotine dependence and finding it challenging to quit. 9. What kind of support do they think will help them if they wanted to reduce or quit vaping? So both share that receiving support from friends such as not vaping in front of them and not offering vapes is helpful. This shows that friends play a crucial role in supporting someone to make positive change. 10. Are there any resources or strategies that they have heard of and are interested in trying to reduce or stop vaping? So both share about nicotine gum, a form of nicotine replacement therapy, NRT, designed to help people quit vaping or smoking by reducing withdrawal symptoms and nicotine cravings. But neither of them has tried the gum yet. Laura Lucchesi, a certified tobacco treatment specialist for the tobacco treatment and counseling program at university hospitals, shares that NRT products are highly safe and effective when used properly. Multiple studies have shown that using NRT nearly doubles a person's chances of quitting tobacco or vaping. And lastly, they shared their hope for the future. A hopes to quit vaping in the future to protect his health and save money. He mentioned that he spends 40 ringgit per month on buying a vape, so he will try to quit vaping to avoid wasting money. B hopes to quit vaping before getting married for the sake of the future and to protect her health. As we know, vaping during pregnancy isn't safe. Most e-cigarettes contains nicotine, which permanently damage a baby's developing brain and many other organs. E-cigarette liquids also contain chemicals, flavors, and other additives that might not be safe for the baby.
Now, here are the counseling intervention plan that we have discussed to help our clients. So, the first step is assessment and goal setting. We will conduct a comprehensive assessment to understand the client's vaping issues, such as their vaping behavior, triggers, underlying emotions, and motivation to quit. Next, we will collaboratively set SMART goals with the clients. So, SMART goals mean a specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound goals that focusing on reducing vaping frequency, managing cravings, and also improving coping skills and addressing underlying psychological factors. So after that, the second step is psychoeducation. So we will provide information about the risks and effects of vaping, including nicotine addiction and health impacts to the client. And we will introduce to them what is CBT and mindfulness therapy. We will explain the principles of CBT and mindfulness, emphasizing how they can help manage urge and stress. The third step is cognitive behavioral therapy. So there are three techniques that will help client. The first one is to identify triggers and thought, cognitive restructuring, and behavioral strategies. So for the first one is we will help the teenagers to identify the triggers for vaping and the thoughts and beliefs associated with their vaping behavior. So number two, many teenagers turn to vaping due to underlying belief or thoughts such as the belief that vaping helps them to relax, to fit in, or cope with stress. And by using a cognitive restructuring, it will challenge this thought by examining their validity and logic, helping teenagers to replace them with more balanced and realistic thoughts. So the last one is behavioral strategies, in which we will help clients to develop alternative strategies for craving and triggers, such as engaging in physical activity or using stress relief techniques. The fourth step is mindfulness techniques. that includes mindful breathing, body scan meditation, and acceptance and non-judgment. So for the first one is we will teach our clients mindful breathing techniques to increase present moment awareness and manage cravings in the moment. So client focusing on the sensations in their body as they breathe in and out. So this will help them to calm their mind and reduce the intensity of their craving. Next, body scan meditation means we will guide the client through body scan meditation to cultivate awareness of physical sensation and develop relaxation skill. Next, we will encourage them to practice acceptance of cravings and emotions without judgment, fostering self-compassion and resilience. Next step is relapse prevention planning. Okay, firstly, we will help client to identify what are their high-risk situation for vaping, such as social gathering or moments of stress. Next, we will collaboratively create a relapse prevention plan with the client, including coping strategies, social support networks, or who to call and what activities to engage in instead of vaping to prevent them from relapsing. And the sixth step is motivational enhancement, which means we will help them to explore what are their intrinsic motivation to quit vaping and achieve their goals. And next is reinforce progress, so meaning that we will celebrate the client's successes and milestones, such as reinforcing their confidence and commitment to change. And the last one is follow up and support. So we will have a regular schedule in counseling session to monitor their progress, to address challenges, and also to adjust the intervention plan as needed. And the last one is support group. We will encourage participation in support group for them in dealing with vape addiction to provide additional support and a sense of community. To conclude, this counseling intervention plan integrates the structured, goal-oriented approach of CBT with the awareness and acceptance focus of mindfulness-based therapy to provide a holistic approach to helping clients overcome vape addiction. So, it is important to tailor the plan to the individual needs of the teenagers, considering their personal circumstances, preferences, and readiness to change.
Hi guys, so short summary and finding. So basically, people who vape have the same hope that they want to stop vaping, but due to the addiction they experience, their attention cannot be continued. Even so, they are still in the process of quitting vaping because they realize that vaping is very dangerous for their health. This vaping is also an addiction that is difficult to let go of once we already take it, because both candidates that we interview have mentioned that their body will become suffocated if they don't vape in a day. Therefore, they are addicted to that and cannot control themselves for taking vape. For the reflection of this assignment, it's strange how it has become an everyday scene nowadays that teenagers are seen puffing away on flavor vapes. Inhale, no, literally, you can see them puff out clouds of vapor. It's not difficult to see how an individual would be attracted to something like that. Many flavor and it feel like the cool factor when seeing all those clouds of vapor, but deep down it feels like ticking time bombs. Vaping may seem like a harmless way to chill out or fit in with friends, but it can quickly become a pretty hard habit to break. It can disrupt their focus in school, making it hard to learn and difficult to keep up with grades. The social pressure of vape may be strong, but what concerns me most is that they may not be able to figure out the risk. It can give way to more stress and anxiety in the long run, moving against the very things they could be looking for. We must, as a community, try to engage with the teenager over vapes. It is not just about going through the gory picture of lung damage. We have to show them a better, brighter future where their goal can achieve and where fun and enjoyment will be done with something that has you hooked. Those holding you back, they deserve healthy alternative for dealing with stress and anxieties and ways to connect with friends that don't involve vape. At the end of the day, all I want is for them to see the bigger picture, which a picture with endless hope in endless possibility and no one cloud by dependent on a vape. At the end, for the conclusion, teenagers' social life, mental health, and academic success are all seriously affected by vaping. This kind of social pressure from their peer, from their friend, can highly influence teenagers to start vaping as a way of fitting in or seeing stylish. It makes it difficult for them to concentrate on their study because it clouds their judgment, hence could hurt their performance and attendance. It is a fact that in the long run vaping does not improve how you appear physically or feel emotionally. Instead, it may trigger anxiety, depression, or even cause one to become an addict. This vaping trend is not safe for teenagers and has no real advantage at all. If you know a teenager who is thinking about vaping, or if they already vape, there are places where you tell them to get help with quitting this habit. For example, talk to someone they trust, like an older person in their family, a doctor, or therapist. There are so many things awaiting them in life, and they should never let vapor be one of them. That's all from our group. Thank you.